Last draft prospect one, and I know we've talked about this one a handful of times, but probably worth discussing given your future ties and my past aspirations. Any reason Cole Eiserman keeps dropping every ranking I see of him? Thought he was like 2 at one point.
Yeah, he definitely was looked at as like 2, 3 coming into the year, like pretty firmly. I mean, a lot of that's just because we've seen him, eviscerate every single league he's been in since he was like 13. Like, again, I brought up the fucking like some of the old Shattuck stats that are comical, like 130 points in 40 games. But I think there are a lot of teams that just look at him now and he's kind of like, yeah, he's going to score a ton of goals. But there's also a whole lot of like bad habits in his game. There's a whole lot of other like things that are probably going to prevent him from being, well, like potentially could. I'm not saying for sure will, but it's almost like they're kind of looking at him as like pretty much just like a scoring one trick pony type player. I mean, he'll flash some playmaking every once in a while, but more, I mean, pretty much right now, his whole game is just like rifling pucks into the net, which is
who wants
he does. He does that better than almost every single player in this draft. So, or maybe even just better than every single player in this draft. But I think probably just like at this point, especially this year, I mean, I think he's probably still on pace to fucking shatter the goal scoring record at the national team program. But I think it's pretty much like, okay, like this is what he does and that's it.
So
which is a pretty fucking good thing, which is why it's like, it's funny. Cause like, we're like, oh, you see the drop. He's like, I think Bobby had it at like 6 or 7. So it's like, oh, it's the epic fall, but it's just like, there are definite like flaws to his game. And I think just the lack of like, kind of like multi-dimensional play. So that's what I've seen in terms of like the criticism most often. And I get it, but it's hard to pass up a kid that projects to score 40 every year in the league.
Yeah, that's okay. Now, if he does break the scoring record there, will people leave poor goddamn Charlie Stramel alone? Gabe Perreault has the record. How could you not take him?
Fucking Jesus Christ. It's just painful. And this was always going to happen too. Like the second they took him, I was like, well, that is a pick. And then of course Gabe Perreault goes, what is it, next pick? Was it the one at like right immediately after? I can't even remember at this point. But I was like, oh fuck. He's going to eviscerate college hockey and hockey, and everyone's gonna be insufferable for years. Who knows? Maybe rightly so. But even if that ends up, even if like the gap between those two players isn't huge, it doesn't matter. No one's like, oh, okay, you know what? I was wrong. This is fine. No one's gonna do that. So I was just like, this is gonna be insufferable forever. So
yeah,
maybe that's why I just don't go on Twitter anymore.
Acceptance, yeah. Acceptance is better.
Oh, that's right. Bonk went after Stramel. That is crazy, but you know, whatever.
I definitely forgot about that part.
I was seeing all of these projections with like Bonk going like really high, and I was like, that is just okay. I mean, we'll see.
Wait, we got to get this one up just purely for Isha when he comes back to edit. Max Veach, many people are saying colleges outside of Stonehill won't even want the Canadian kids after seeing how bad the U.S. has been beating them in junior tournaments. I see no lies. Very reasonable. Maybe that's why it's like now allowed. It's like, oh, yeah, Canada. Like, cool. Like, that's like Norway, right?
If they could make the fucking team, you know, you can come and come on down to Treeouts, but like, fuck off. Yeah, sir. It's fucking grocery stick.
Oh, man.